everybody, this is Big Bang Crypto. My name is Sam and welcome to another episode. Now before we get into it, I want to show you something that Sned posted in the last hours. He's one of our first community members and I'm really happy that he joined our group. And yeah, he posted this for the new members because it is important to understand the four wave theory if you want to understand the price movement and to see why it is so powerful. And he writes that understanding these pathways enables us to know how, why, and when market makers are manipulating the market, allowing us to think ahead of the game instead of trading in reactionary fashion as most people do. And this is very, very important because you have to understand that the whales or industrial players, the big players, they don't want you to get rich. They want it all. So they try to find a way where nobody else can follow, and so the most people lose their money. Right? This is how it works, and it has always been like that, and it will always be like that. So this is very important, and I wanted to show you that to really understand why this theory helps us to make the money, make profit, and yeah, sit on the same table like the whales at the end. All right, so let's get into the chart, and I want to show you something very important for the next days. So this is the first wave in 2012, and what you can see, I talked about it a lot. So we have this falling wedge formation, and this is a bullish pattern, and at the end, when we break out of this falling wedge, we move to the next wave. All right, but now what is important? What you can see is after leaving the rising channel, Bitcoin falls below the daily exponential ribbon and then starts to come up again, and at some point it leaves this falling wedge formation, makes a nice pump, and then comes all the way down. All right, now important is, where does it come back to? So what you can see, we have this yellow line. I talked about this yellow line in one of my previous videos. This yellow line starts back at the beginning of the fourth wave of the last bull market. You can see it here because the information is incomplete, but well, I hope you trust me. So as you can see, it comes down to very close to this yellow line and also very close to this purple line. This purple line starts at the beginning of the wave, of this first wave. So what you can see, this is 1 year before the first halving, and at that time the first wave started. And this purple line begins with the beginning of this wave, and as you can see, after breaking out of this falling wedge, Bitcoin comes back down to test this level again. So this is very important for the next days, so keep that in mind. And what I also want to show you is that when Bitcoin is moving out of this falling wedge, it is moving inside of a channel, of a rising channel. All right. So what you can see is, once again, we have our three tests of the channel line. So this upper line is the channel line. So we have 1, 2, and 3 tests, and then we leave this rising channel. This is the same like we had at in this channel or in this channel. It's always the same. Now we take a look at the first wave of our last bull market, because I want to show you that this is a recurring similarity. Let's take this away. So, all right. So, once again, very close to 1 year before the second halving, the first wave starts. And what you can see is that, oh, sorry, it is a little bit too big. So what you can see is that again we have this falling wedge formation, all right, and at the end of this wedge, Bitcoin moves inside of a channel out of this falling wedge and then leaves this rising channel and comes back down to this purple line close to this yellow line. And when we take a look at it, as you can see, this purple line starts with the first wave. All right. With the first wave, this purple line starts, and look, price comes back down to test this purple line. So this is very important, because in the Discord channel I posted many times, another drop will come, but before that we will rise. And once again, this yellow line starts way back with the beginning of the fourth wave of the last bull market. So as you can see, this is a very strong support, and you can see it at that point, for example, or at these points where it is a very strong resistance line, and the price comes down to test the purple line. And also when it is very close to the next wave, it comes down to test this yellow line again. So this is something that we have to keep in mind for the next weeks. All right, so this is very important. Keep that in mind. So now we're gonna take a look at the current wave. All right, so oh yeah, there's a lot of things going on my chart. Again, 1 year before the next halving, so the next halving will be next year in May, and again, very close to that point, we have our first wave. This is the current wave. And once again, we have this purple line. We also have this blue line that is coming. So these are very important and strong support levels. And as you can see, price respects these levels. Again, we have this yellow line that starts at the beginning of the fourth wave of the last bull market. I just want to show you that. So there it is. So here it starts. At that point it is resistance. It also goes way back. It's a very, very strong support line, but as you can see, it played a major role for the fourth wave of the last bull market. And now it plays support and resistance for the current wave and price action. So as you can see, at that point or at that point or at that point, it is very, very important. And yeah, so what does that mean? I think this is our channel out of this falling wedge. All right, so again, we have a falling wedge. This is our channel when we leave this falling wedge. As you can see, Bitcoin is respecting these resistance and support lines. And also you can see we have one test, we have two tests, and the next one will come. And really, it makes a lot of sense to me to see this. What I think is that Bitcoin will find support on this blue line and start to move upwards. It will find resistance on this yellow line, so somewhere around $10,600 if it happens tomorrow. Today it will be around, let's say, close to $10,700. So maybe one day we will be fighting with this resistance level and then break it, move upwards, come to this blue line. This is also a strong resistance line, and fight with this one a little bit, and then come all the way up. And I think it is very likely to come close to the $12,000 level, as you can see. So this blue line that you see, this dark blue line, this one starts way back at the end of the fourth wave. As you can see, this is very important. So I imagine this to be our resistance line, and to bring us back down where we leave this rising channel. If it's not this blue line, then it will be this purple line. Now, why this purple line? Just want to show you that. As you can see, when we were moving up to $13,900, it played a big resistance role at that time, and look where it starts. This one goes back to the top of our last big wave, where we came close to $20,000. And this is also a recurring similarity. This line is also a recurring similarity, very, very important. The current wave and current price action also respects this line. So it is very, very, no, not very, but it is likely, if this one is not strong enough, then this one will be the point where we top out. So this will be at nearly $12,500. And then we will fall out of this rising channel and come back down. All right. And now here's the thing. Where will we find support on the way down? All right. So what makes sense is this blue line. This blue line is a very, very strong support line. And so if we come back down, we might come to, let's say, $13,400 again. So from $12,000 to $10,300. This is possible. We could also come to this white line. This is also a very strong support line. So when you take a look, price is really, really respecting this one. As you can see, very important. And it starts with the beginning of this wave. When I go to the futures chart, it is easier to understand why this white line is important. So this is the same white line, and as you can see on the futures chart, you can see really nice what a role it is playing. Right? As you can see, it is very, very important, and at the moment it gives us support. All right, it gives us really support, and so this is very important. That is why I say maybe we come down to this white line. So if we come back down and find support on this white line, as you can see, played a major role back in the last days. So this could be at nearly $10,600 to $700. When we're at that point, I can give you better numbers, but at the moment, just for your orientation, $10,600 to $700 depends on where we test this white line or meet this white line. Yeah, and the deepest point could be this yellow line. All right, and this one, if this happens, this would bring us back down to $9,600. I think this is more unlikely at that time. What is more likely is that when we are closer to the second wave, we have 1, 2, or 3 wicks coming down to this yellow line. This is something that I could imagine. So coming down maybe to test 10K again before the second wave. So this makes sense to me. But like I said, I think for this drop, these two lines, or this dark blue line, also a very important line, as you can see, also starts with the fourth wave. As you can see, it's very, very strong. So this zone makes really sense to me because we have a lot of strong support lines at this point. Yes, so this is what's going on. So at the moment, what I'm looking at is if this is really our support line. All right, it looks like it, as you can see when we go to the 1 hourly chart. Yeah, when we go to the 1 hourly chart, as you can see, it is really finding support, and I really wouldn't be surprised if we see a really strong move in the next hours, because we're very close to this blue line and we find resistance on this dark blue line. So we have a lot of pressure right there, and if this theory is correct and this is our support line, then a breakout yeah, could happen, let's say in the next 3 to 7 hours, maybe something like this. So one last test of this blue line and then moving all the way up. Or what could happen is to fall down and then to have our support line somewhere in these areas. But this really makes sense to me when we take a look at the price action close to this blue line, and we're not below it yet. All right. So this is very important to me, and maybe you have to do it something like this. Also possible, but like I said, we will see it. We will see if this is really our support line, or we have another one somewhere. Yeah, we will see that in the next hours. Now, when it comes to the altcoins, because a lot of you are seeing some price reactions. So for example, one chain, I think yesterday again 20%, Icon 10%, Dash made something like 7%, I think. Yes, these price movements match with the historical price movements. It makes really sense, because I think Bitcoin is very close to the point to leave this falling wedge. And back in 2015, when Bitcoin was very close to this point, the altcoins started to pump as well. All right. Now, these days, I think the situation is a little bit different, because the people don't trust this bull market yet. A lot of people still talk about the bear market, talk about $8,000, $7,000, even $3,000, $2,000. So this is why I think they're not investing too much at the moment. But this will come. As soon as we leave this falling wedge formation, the altcoins will start to pump. I think this is very, very likely. Maybe not all of them, but some will make really nice gains. And when we come back down to these levels, I think, again, there will be a sell-off. People scared. People will be panic selling. And so, yeah, again, we will have some nice entry points. But this is something that I could imagine. I mean, if Bitcoin really starts to move up to $12,000 again, and before I forget it, $12,000 makes a lot of sense when you look at it this way. So this is $12,000, and we have important price actions at this level, as you can see. So we have strong support and resistance levels, and so I think it is very likely to come up and test these levels again. Now, question is, will we move above this point right here, so above $12,300? It could happen. It could happen, but if you take a look at it on a historical price movement point of view, then it's more unlikely to move above this. So what I expect is to reach or come close to $12,000, but not move above it. All right. But that's not for sure. That's just my theory, considering historical price movement. All right, guys. That's it. And yeah, I wanted to say that when we come up to $12,000, guys, you know the altcoins will pump, because people will be talking about bull market. And yes, this is it. And the question will be answered, and people will invest. So this makes a lot of sense to me. But then again, we have this big drop. People will be scared and they will sell again. So it's always like this. All right, I hope this video is helpful. Thank you very much for following me, and all new subscribers. Thank you very much. I think we are close to 250 subscribers. This is amazing. And yeah, please join our Discord channel. It is really, really helpful. We have so much knowledge there. And leave a like, subscribe, and I hope we see us soon. Goodbye.